breaking news from the Bank of Canada. They have announced that they are dropping the interest rate to 4.5%. Joining me to discuss is Jim Stanford. He's an economist and research associate at the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Good morning, Jim. Good to see you today. So let's begin by getting your reaction. Another cut, the second in a row. Was this a surprise?
Well, most people were expecting it, but that doesn't make it any less pleasurable to hear the Bank of Canada take a second interest rate cut. This will come as a great relief to millions of Canadians. Anyone who's about to renegotiate their mortgage can have a little bit more comfort from this. Of course, the interest rate still has to come down a lot more, but at least we're heading in the right direction.
Heading in the right direction. So we're going to be hearing from Tiff Macklem later this morning. Jim, what do you expect he will say to Canadians about where the economy stands and why the Bank of Canada made this decision today?
Well, I think first, Marcia, he will focus on the obvious evidence that inflation has fallen a lot and has fallen quickly. 2.7% is the latest year-over-year measure on the inflation rate, way down from over 8% a couple of years ago. Also, some of the underlying measures, what they call core inflation, are doing even better, closer to 2%, well within the Bank of Canada's target range. They aim for 2%, but they give themselves 1 percentage point buffer on either side. So they want it between 1 and 3%. It's clearly in their range, and they can clearly deliver some of the relief. He will also likely, give some hints as to where they're heading in the future. But on that score, the bank has been holding their cards very close to their chest. They're saying they'll evaluate it on a meeting-to-meeting basis based on whatever data is coming in. As long as inflation stays within that range, and as long as it's clear that Canada's economy needs some help, as it does right now, we've seen a real slowdown and rising unemployment, then we're likely to see more rate cuts, likely a couple more before the end of this year.
Jim Stanford, he is an economist and research associate at the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Jim, thanks so much for that.